We know it. It's been more than a decade and we're still waiting for a sequel to Avatar. Oh god, no, not that one. We don't want to remember that one. We're talking about James Cameron's 2009 3D blue alien CGI extravaganza.
This is your Avatar.
That took the world by storm and unexpectedly became the highest-grossing film of all time, only to be recently challenged, but not surpassed, by 2019 Avengers Endgame.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
But we're not really expecting to see Avatar 2. How well do you remember it, if at all? The first Avatar movie? Well, 7.2 million views in 9 days seems to be decent numbers for the trailer of a movie that made its fans wait 13 whole years for a continuation. But hey, if we're going to be fair, we've seen sequels, or prequels in this case, that got made way later than that and still made big entrances back into the Hollywood money machine.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy?
That's right, I'm looking at you, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which happened to arrive into theaters 16 years after the last installment of the original saga. Even if you're not too excited about Avatar's universe or story, you might have heard how much of a success this movie was in terms of technological breakthroughs. In 3D technology and its extensive use of CGI were something uncommon and mind-blowing at the time, and that's one of the things that excites us about this new film. How will James Cameron top his previous creation? Will this movie see any of the success its parent film had? We're merely months away of getting those answers, but right now let's enjoy a quick dissection of the trailers to see all the tiny details you might have missed in Avatar 2 trailer. Let's start with the very first shots of the trailer because we start with a big load of information. We won't discuss the CGI in depth, but we can already say it looks amazing if we compare it to the first movies. Just take a look at the detail of those vines. The overall CGI quality is just breathtaking. But anyways, back to the details. We see a human-looking kid running across the vines with a bunch of other kids, and this immediately raises questions and theories. The first thing that obviously comes to mind is that their kid? Oh my gosh, by this point we have like zero knowledge of how the Na'vi genetics work, how they are mixed in the genetic medley that human scientists use to create the avatars by combining human and Na'vi genetic material. But we didn't expect any possible descendants to look human, or is that just a random kid born from the actual humans who remained in Pandora? Wait a minute, that was a lot of speculation. What we can actually see is that humans have indeed returned to Pandora. Yeah, we saw how they got expelled by the end of Avatar, but the RDA may have returned in search for more, thus spawning a second age of the Great Sorrow. We get to see a bunch of other humans after all, but I don't know, this guy definitely looks a bit like the Jake human.
That would be weird. You're weird.
Or maybe this theory is too weird and they just adopted a human child somehow. The movie is called Avatar 2: The Way of Water. That takes a pretty literal meaning that's obvious as we get into the trailer. We don't remember large bodies of water having any importance in 2009, but it only makes sense that the Na'vi are moving away from their original village after its destruction. Maybe they're establishing in a whole new place, which includes this change of environment. Maybe they can access the Hallelujah floating mountains. That's where we see them in the beginning. But they definitely had to move away from the home tree to a more coastal environment. This would allow us to explore a completely new setting in Pandora's geography and even go deeper into its amazing biodiversity. And we mean literally deeper, as they're going to show some underwater incursions. Of course, there might be an even deeper and philosophical meaning to be discovered in the title, but we need to wait for the movie to find that out. The Na'vi are comprised by lots and lots of clans that live scattered across Pandora. In the first movie, we spent time with one tribe, which is basically a tribe of the forest. They used to live in and around the home tree in one of many Pandora's jungles. But of course, there are more clans that we only got to see briefly when they are summoned into war. One of those clans is the lesser-known Na'vi tribe of water people that inhabits the ocean, islands, and the littoral.
Here is your word, littoral.
Littoral.
Definition? Having to do with a lake or ocean.
According to Avatar fandom, this clan makes use of their extensive and diverse habitat in many ways and has a close relationship with water. Just as some of the other clans ride dire horses to trek the land masses of Pandora, or others have their companion of choice for gliding across the Pandorian oceans. If you look closely at these Na'vi, you'll notice a greenish tone on their skin and web-like fingers better adapted for the water. Further into the trailer, we can confirm how different they look since they're green-skinned. This might strike as very odd at first sight, but given that we only saw a small portion of Pandora in the first film, we can open to the possibility of completely different-looking Na'vi in other locations. The Resources Development Administration is definitely back in Pandora, or maybe found in one of the other moons around it, and the trailer is using this to mislead us. You have to remember that Pandora is only one out of 14 moons that orbit around the gas giant planet Polyphemus. Since humans got kicked out by the Na'vi, they might establish operations in a nearby moon. But hey, it's just a theory. Maybe the truth is, even simpler Inhumans just return to Pandora to complete their mission, which is why we see this huge extraction site. You can even see the giant mining machine in the left side of the shot. But there's even more to unpack here. Did you see these weird-looking robots leaving the spot? These multi-legged creature must be doing some sort of guarding of the perimeter. And just popping up at us, we can see another spider-like robot welding some structures. It looks like the humans got inspiration for their creations from the local fauna. In the center of the frame, we can see a human, probably a soldier, using an exoskeleton to reach the avatar's height. And yes, this too are clearly avatars and not Na'vis, since they're wearing military clothing. We might even see these same two further on. For further indications, we see a well-established base of operations. The place is riddled with choppers, APUs, training soldiers, transportation, and storage areas. There's definitely something huge going on here. You couldn't possibly have forgotten about the Colonel, and he certainly hasn't forgotten his grudge against the Na'vi. No, I know. We saw him die by the arrows inside of his APU, and we certainly didn't see him around, or do we? We never see him around in his human form. Remember the couple of avatars from the extraction site? Look at them now. They're definitely military personnel. Are you still doubting? Take a closer look at the first soldier's arm. Do you recognize the tattoo? We've got no idea he could be alive, but we can theorize that somehow he got his consciousness transferred into an avatar. This will make him a formidable opponent and someone to be feared. We're reaching the end of the video, but we want to leave you with one last juicy detail for you to discuss in the comments below. In this scene, we can clearly see a human wearing Na'vi paraphernalia and breathing perfectly in the jungle. How is this possible if we learn that humans can't breathe in Pandora? Let us know your theories about this. Did you notice any tiny details in the Avatar 2 trailer? What else did you notice? What theories do you have about this sequel? Are you intrigued by James Cameron's most successful universe? Show us your observation skills and let us know in the comments what else you caught. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn your notifications on by hitting that little bell if you want to keep receiving awesome content like this.